cumulative GPA of 2.5. And I had a rejection letter for every graduate program I applied to. So, yes, failed. But in actuality, when I think back in retrospect, this was, in fact, my first attempt in learning. You see, this was a necessary fail for me to realize that, in actuality, I needed to find an alternate path to get to my goal. And so, in talking with a friend, fellow Xavier Wright, she had recently completed a program that allowed her to travel internationally and conduct research at the University of Cape Coast in Cape Coast, Ghana, Africa. She shared with me all of the fun she had had, everything that she had learned, and I thought, maybe I should apply to this program. This might be my break, my opportunity to improve as a graduate applicant. So I did just that. I applied to the San Diego State University Minority Health International Research Training Program in Cape Coast, Ghana, Africa in the Department of Chemistry. Here are pictures of me from this program. And while this was about a research opportunity, what I realized was that this actually forced me to think about all of the opportunities that I had misused as a student pursuing an education here in the US. But this opportunity also brought home some other things. You see, this was where I realized and met my personal mentor, Dr. Estrelita Martin, who is in fact the director of the Minority Health International Research Training Program through San Diego State University. Dr. Estrelita Martin herself is an African-American woman, particularly an embryologist. And when I saw her, I saw the individual that I one day wanted to be. But in addition to that, Ghana prepared me. You see, Ghana was the place where I realized that I wanted to specialize in mosquitoes and mosquito-borne disease control. I had successfully integrated myself into a community where the common cold, which we see here in the US, will be equivalent to their mosquito-borne disease, malaria. And so I had this epiphany. Hey, I want to go rid the world of mosquitoes and mosquito-borne diseases. But after 10 weeks of this program, I found myself traveling from Accra, Ghana, back to the US, and I realized I hadn't applied to any graduate programs. So I was still in this state of nowhere. But what it actually showed me was that it was now and here the time to recalibrate. You see, recalibrate. This was a word I never really understood until I went to Ghana. Dr. Estrelita Martin and her husband, Mr. Martin, had told me that in order to successfully integrate into the culture in Ghana, I would have to learn how to recalibrate and recalibrate really quickly. And I did just that. I recalibrated. And upon turning to the US, I once again had to recalibrate. And so in sharing with Dr. Martin my interest in mosquitoes, this epiphany that I had had, she told me that she knew of an opportunity that she thought was a perfect fit for me. She said this will allow you to conduct research as a post-baccalaureate student and work with research scientists around the world, in particular the US and Canada. But she said, brace yourself, Siobhan. There's one piece that might shake you a little bit. This opportunity is in Montana. Wait, Montana? I'm from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's a vast difference. So I had to speak with my parents about it, so I didn't give her a yes right away. And in talking with my parents, I remember it very clearly. My dad said, Siobhan, Bozeman, Montana? I've done the research, and Montana is less than 1% African American by population. What do you plan to do there? Honestly, I had no idea. But I knew it was necessary for me to take this step, because this would put me one step closer to my goal of being admitted to graduate school. So, in the summer of, actually, it wasn't in the summer. It was at the coldest time. That was a joke for you. December 2011, I picked up and my dog and I moved from Baton Rouge, Louisiana to Bozeman, Montana. And this was in fact a huge transition. But I knew I was going there with a purpose. And so in January of 2012, I began with the U.S. Geological Survey's Northern Rocky Mountain Science Center as a biological science technician in their STEP program. And through this STEP program, I took classes as a post-baccalaureate and also worked with other researchers at the Norrock Center. But while on the campus, I was introduced to Dr. Robert K.D. Peterson, or as he's known at Montana State, Bob Peterson. You see, Bob is a professor who specializes in entomology, in particular mosquitoes. And so I started to tell Bob of my interests, that I just had this epiphany while in Ghana, and I think he really quickly realized my passion and that this girl, she needed the opportunity, that she wanted to be in grad school. So he told me to give him a few weeks, let him go to the drawing board, and pull together some funding for me. And in a few weeks, Bob had done right by me. He had some funding for me. And so in August of 2012, I had done the impossible. I was admitted to graduate school as a graduate student pursuing a master's in entomology at Montana State University. So this process, I was the first in my family to pursue anything of this nature. It was rocky, it was uncertain at times, but in actuality, I enjoyed the research. I enjoyed learning about mosquitoes, and eventually I realized this is just one level. And as Dr. Martin said, this is the master's. We're going for the PhD. So I began looking at different programs, different PIs, and I came about two programs that really stood out to me. And so I reached out to the professors and also eventually applied. You wonder, what are these two schools? Well, number one was the Texas A&M University. Number two was Virginia Tech. I applied and was successfully admitted to both. Hey, come on, where's the homies in the room? Hey, so I got into both, but within a few weeks of being admitted to both, I was made aware that the funding opportunity through the Department of Entomology at Texas A&M was not there. So that was in fact my first no. By this, I went to my next choice, Virginia Tech. You see, I had been awarded the George Washington Carver Fellowship, or assistantship as we call it there, which was founded by Dr. Randy Grayson, who started this program allowing minority students the opportunity to pursue doctoral studies and master's degrees at predominantly white institutions. And so I had the funding, everything was looking great, and I needed only to get into the laboratory of my choice. I wanted to work with mosquitoes, but that didn't quite work out. So that was my second no. So what I did instead, with this seriousness and commitment to being a doctoral student, I went into an urban pest management lab specializing in bed bugs and cockroaches. Yes, never in my wildest dreams would I have thought of that. So I get in this lab, and in fact, actuality, this was a great opportunity. You see, this was not a no. Both of these were preparing me for that next opportunity. In this lab, I learned how to manipulate bed bugs and cockroaches. I had those tools in my belt as well. But within a few months, I realized this was not the environment for me to succeed. It was an unhealthy environment. And while we as graduate students don't often want to talk about that, it's something that when you realize it, you need to find someone to talk with about it. And so I sat on it for a while. I was a little embarrassed. And I eventually reached out to Dr. Randy Grayson, who had started that Carver program and was the reason I was at Virginia Tech. And so Dr. Grayson and I talked back and forth, and we eventually put together a plan. But I will say, it was strategic, and most importantly, it was professional. So I was able to move from this unhealthy environment, working with bed bugs and cockroaches, and you will not believe it. I went into the laboratory that I originally wanted to go to at Virginia Tech, the laboratory of none other than Dr. Zachary Edelman. I was back with my mosquitoes, and I was learning something interesting. I was learning about molecular biology. You see, at Montana State, I worked with insecticides, whereas at Virginia Tech, in this new laboratory, I would be working on the vector itself, using it as a means of mosquito control. So, I get into Dr. Edelman's lab, life is going great, and I remember this quite clearly. I started the lab April 1st, no April Fool's joke at all, April 1st, 2015. And things were going smooth. I had gotten this project, I quickly adjusted, and I thought I'd overcome pretty much every obstacle I could have had. But in December 2015, within 8 months of being in Dr. Edelman's lab, he informed us that he was moving his program. He's like, okay, come on, give me a break. Can I get a break? So I had to sit there and ponder, well, he's moving the program. Where is he going? Is he taking us with him? Will we be left here? And he quickly reassured us, I'm moving the program, but I want all of you to come with me. And so that brought a little bit of relief. But where? Where are we going to go this time? And you won't believe where he was going. Well, I guess you know where he went. He went to none other than Texas A&M University in College Station. So, this was a point of end, but it was actually a reference that my efforts never died. You see, I've been through all of that. Originally wanted to go into Texas A&M, and then when I was at Virginia Tech, wanted to work in Dr. Edelman's lab. I ended up there, and I ended up at Texas A&M. So, this transition time from December until May 2016 allowed me an opportunity. This transition time was perfect for me to go to the NIH and further my own PhD research while the lab was packing up. Or as Dr. Edelman would say it, why would I have you stay here and pack bags? Go, further your research. So I did just that. Through the NIH Graduate Summer Opportunity to Advance Research, which you all should apply for if you're in the sciences. I was a part of the first cohort. They're doing the second one now, so the third one is coming up. I was allowed to conduct research with some of the leading top mosquito researchers in the U.S. And so to this day, these collaborations still stand. And so here I am, conducting this research at the NIH and culminating with the NIH's poster day. And so what this experience did to me, it prepared me. But what I didn't realize was that on that journey, traveling from Bethesda, Maryland to College Station, Texas, I was once again in that moment of nowhere. I was 3 years into the PhD. Research was going well. I was going to the place I had always wanted to be, an Aggie. But I realized that it was now and here, once again, the time to recalibrate. And I think I've recalibrated quite well, would you say? I'm here at Texas A&M, just a little bit within a year of earning my doctoral degree in entomology. I presented my research findings locally and internationally. I've established a community outside of the Texas A&M system here in the College Station, Bryan area, and I stress that, finding your community outside of the system. And lastly, I'm serving as a positive role model for minority youth by serving as a mentor and tutor at the North Bryan Community Center. And this is what really brings me joy, weekly, seeing these little kids and letting them know that a career in science is possible when you look like me. So, I say all of this, and when you see me, you see an African American. You see a woman, a strong woman, shall I say. You see an individual who was the first in her family to venture out and pursue a doctoral degree. And you see someone who is an entomologist by training. And so while I think many of the women, minorities, and first-generation students in this room can agree with some of the obstacles that I have overcome, what if I told you that all of us in the room have overcome obstacles ourselves? So I told you I was from Southern Louisiana, so it wouldn't be right if I didn't end it how we do it down south. So if you've ever, in your life, during the graduate process, experienced a no, please stand up. I got a lot on that first one. If you've ever had a moment where you felt like it was the end, done, going home and not going back to the lab or wherever it might be, join us in standing up. Now, if you're not standing up, this one should get everybody. If you ever felt like you failed, you're not doing the graduate process right. And lastly, if you've had those nowhere moments where you felt like your back was against the wall, you did not know where to go, please join us. So look around the room. You see, these obstacles, they don't have a shade, a hue, or an ethnicity associated with them. We've all overcome some things. But as you're standing, think about how these no's actually prepared you for the next opportunity. How these ends were just confirmations that those efforts that you had put in never truly died. And how these fails, as painful as they may have been while you were going through them, were actually your first attempts in learning. And if we're quite honest, these were our best attempts. These were the best mechanisms for learning in graduate school. And lastly, with these nowhere moments, when you think about them, they were actually forcing you to now and here recalibrate and step outside of that comfort zone you had developed. So if you can think of a time where any of this has applied to you, join me in not only giving myself a round of applause, give yourselves a round of applause. So what you've officially done is you've defied the odds. You see, you successfully took an obstacle and turned it into an opportunity. Thank you all very much.